Morning, everybody. So today we're going to finish out Ezra. We're going to be in chapter 10, and chapter 10 is it's an interesting one. It's a really hard chapter when you really think about what's going on and how they had to handle this situation. Previously in chapter 9, Ezra discovers that all of these people, that he's come back for, have married into the land, right? So they married outside of the Jewish race, and they married back into the people that they were not supposed to. The people in the land, God directly told them not to many times. They did it anyway. So, Ezra had a little bit of a crash out, and it picks back up, and he prays very deeply for the remaining Jews, and then just kind of sits there weeping and fasting, right? So chapter 10 picks up with the people hearing his cry, hearing his prayer, and kind of rallying around him. And they said that they would do whatever it took to fix this, right? So what happens next is is very difficult. Ezra brings the priests in and makes them swear an oath that they will do what they just said, and then tries to figure out how to right the wrong. And what they come up with is, they have to, these people who have married into people that are, not of their race, they have to send them away, right? So it's very hard. It's very difficult when you think about it. These people had wives. Some of them even had children. Some of them were wives and were having to, leave their husbands as a result of all of this happening. And it even sets the stage for like how somber of a time frame this is. It tells you that the entire assembly of Israel gathered, or of Judah, Jerusalem, gathered under or before Ezra, and it was pouring down rain, right? So the people were in a very dark place, right? And that whole scenescape you can just kind of visualize. Ezra is casting, or not casting judgment, but he's rendering a judgment unto these people from God, and it's raining, right? I mean, it's cinematic. It really is. So, they end up coming to a determination that they can't just do this all at one time, and it takes them about a month to go through every family within the remnant and separate those people, and send the non-Jews away from Jerusalem. Therefore, cleansing the area of that, and bringing it back to what it should be according to the law. And that, when you think about it, it had to be very difficult, right? But between chapters 9 and 10, we see a lot of different undertones, and what you can really take away from this and get a modern day application for, outside of chapter 9's obviously like, let's not marry, marry or even date unyoked, is how quickly we return to our sin, right? How quickly we go back to our sin. We just willingly go back to it. And what we're told to do is to divorce it, right? We're told to get rid of it, cut it out completely. Because, in the same way that these non-Jewish people would, take away from and delude and eventually persuade the Jews away from God, our sin detracts us and separates us from God, right? So between chapters 9 and 10, if you really look at practical applications, it can be difficult to cut out our sin. It absolutely can. But with God, it is not, right? But we have to be, of the mind to say, hey, I've got to get rid of this. we've got to do this. God, I need your help to get rid of this entirely. And he'll make it happen. But then, the temptation comes, right? And we have to be ready for that and set up guardrails and set up, different things to stay away from that and keep ourselves out of that sin and falling back into that temptation. It can be very difficult. Very difficult. But trusting in God is how we accomplish that, right? Reading his word, praying and meditating upon his word, setting those times up, making that time is how we fix that and how we keep ourselves from falling back into that situation. So it's just food for thought. I mean, chapter 10 is a really great chapter. Go back and read it. It's hard. It's difficult when you really sit down and imagine all of this taking place. Whew, that's tough. It's really tough. But it's there for a reason, and it's there for our benefit. Love you guys. Have a great day.